This Batwing cardigan is cozy enough to curl up in, stylish enough to wear out, and easy enough for beginners to make all on their own. Hey guys, I'm T, maker of 600 plus patterns and tutorials. Welcome to the channel. Today's tutorial is relaxed, rhythmic, and effortlessly wearable. We're making a Batwing style cardigan that drapes like a dream and feels like a cozy hug. It's the kind of piece that turns head at brunch but feels like loungewear on the couch. If you're new here, welcome. I share made-to-measure beginner-friendly crochet tutorials and patterns every Sunday and Wednesday. So tell a friend, tap the bell, and subscribe so you never miss an upload. And if you enjoy the video, give it a big thumbs up or 2 thumbs down if you don't. Either way, it helps keep these tutorials free. Any category for you on to work. I used a total of 300 grams, that's 455 yards, along with a 6 and 9 millimeter hook for that soft, flexible drape. Pattern link below, use code TCDDIY for a discount on orders over $9.99. Stay to the end for this week's pattern giveaway. We're using basic stitches for this project, mainly the half double crochet in the back loops for that stretch and texture. They're all on screen now, pause to check it out. This tutorial is made for a size small, but it is made to measure. We'll show you how to size it to your body as we go, so grab your tape measure and let's create your own cozy, comfy Batwing cardigan. Beginning this ultra cozy cardi, we're starting with the front panel and it's built vertically for that elegant drape. We're all going to grab our category 4 yarn, make a slip knot, then our 9 millimeter hook, and we're going to create a foundation half double crochet row that runs from the top of our shoulder down to our hips. This sets the height and gives that elongated, elegant drape. Start with a chain 3. Now just for this example, I did switch out to a 6 millimeter hook just to make sure we all got it down, but we are making this section with a 9 millimeter hook. Start with a yarn over. Into that first chain that we made, underneath that front loop and that back bump at the same time. Yarn over, pull through those 2 strands on our hook to get 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through just that first loop. Pulling through just that first forms the chain for the foundation row. Then we're going to half double per usual, so yarn over and pull through 3. The next one, yarn over, into that chain that we made, inserting into that front and back loop at the same time. Yarn over, pull through those 2 strands to get 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through just the first to form that chain, then half double per usual, so pull through all 3. Now I have already measured mine out. I need about 17 inches or 43 centimeters, so that's going to be a foundation half double crochet row of 50. And remember, we are still actually using our 9 millimeter hook. Now from here, we're going to build the width by adding rows of half double crochets in the back loops. Chain 2, that's our turning chain, flip our work, and yarn over. Into that first stitch's back loop, or the loop that's furthest away from us, half double per usual. Again, yarn over. Next stitch is back loop with a back loop half. This is creating a soft rib texture that actually mimics knitwear and moves with your body. This vertical construction gives you that clean shoulder line and a drop shoulder silhouette that's relaxed but runway ready. Now, just keep adding rows. So back loop half doubles, no increases, no decreases, until this reaches from 2 inches past the tip of your shoulder inwards to the edge of the base of your neck. And then just cut right after an even number row. But make sure that we're keeping track of how many foundation stitches that we just made and also how many rows that we do for the front panel. And the total width that I needed for the front panel is just about 8 inches or 20 centimeters, and that's a total of 16 rows. Now once we have one panel completed, we're actually going to be making a second that is exactly the same. Then we've got our 2 front pieces down. Now the back panel anchors the whole silhouette and gives the whole cardigan its cozy structure. And it is yet another rectangle. So start with the same foundation half double crochet stitches as you did for the front panel. Remember, this foundation row runs from the top of our shoulder down to the hip. Then we're going to build the width of the back panel just by adding rows of back loop half doubles exactly the same way we did the front. This panel is going to be worked from 2 inches past our shoulder, across our back to 2 inches past the tip of our other shoulder. That's going to give us that relaxed off-duty silhouette, but with just enough structure to balance the batwing sleeves. Now make sure your back panel is at least as wide as both your front panels combined, or a little bit more. That little extra space creates room for the neckline and keeps the fit easy and wearable. My back panel is 34 rows, and now that the panels are done, it's time to bring the shoulders together. We're going to lay our back panel flat, then place our front panel on top, aligning the top edges at the shoulder, then just single crochet seam along the top to join. We're just working a single crochet row in through both panels at the same time. So into that first top loop within the front panel, insert, First top loop within the back panel, insert, and we're going to single crochet everything together. And work your seam from the shoulder inward to the edge of the front panel, making sure that your stitches are even and not too tight. Now pause here just to double check your alignment before you seam the second shoulder. This step is going to set the stage for that relaxed drop shoulder look. So it's structured enough to hold its shape, but soft enough to move with you. Now let's shape those batwing sleeves. Now since the body already extends 2 inches past the tip of our shoulder, we're going to be adding a short sleeve section that tapers down to mid-forearm, and that's going to be where the cuff begins. So to create this soft taper, we're going to work 1 row at a time, decreasing by 4 stitches per row. We're going to place our decreases roughly at each quarter of the row. Now they don't have to be perfectly spaced, just keep them as even as possible. So make sure your work is flipped right side out. So the seam that we did for the shoulder is now along the inside. Then we're going to place our hook into the bottom corner stitch of both the front and the back panel and pull through. That's going to kind of act as our seam since we aren't doing an actual seam. It's just going to connect both panels and chain 2. That chain 2 doesn't actually count as a stitch. And the decreases that we're going to do is actually invisible decreases in the back loop. It's basically a normal half double crochet, but just inserting your hook into 2 stitches at the same time. Yarn over. Into that first stitch, we're still working in the back loops, so bring your hook underneath that first back loop. Then, since we want to work into both of these stitches, bring your hook up that next back loop. So now we're working into 2 stitches, yarn over and pull through those 2 strands, yarn over, pull through 3, so that's a half double per usual. And just keep working our back loop halves until we reach our next stitch marker, another invisible decrease. And just continue to invisible decrease at every stitch marker. So each row is going to shrink by 4 stitches. There's 1 decrease, 2, 3, and 4. It's going to gradually narrow down the sleeve for that relaxed cocoon shape. So keep repeating this decrease row until the sleeve reaches mid-forearm. And make sure that you're keeping track of the amount of stitches that we have per row, because we are going to have to repeat this on the other side. Now, a really quick side note is if your sleeve doesn't taper all the way down to get a snug fit at the forearm, that is totally fine. The cuff will cinch it in and give it that cozy gathered finish. But also, if it does taper down, but you still want a little bit more length, just continue to do back loop half double crochet rows, no more increases and no more decreases. But either way, we're all meeting at the forearm for the length of the cuff. And with my sleeve length completed, I have a total of 18 rows. This length is just about 10 inches or 25 centimeters. Now we're ready for the cuff, and we're going to start by switching out our hook to a 6mm hook. We're going to cinch it in first with a single crochet row, alternating between 1 to 2 single crochets. So just find that first stitch, insert with 1 single, into that next stitch with 2, and keep alternating all the way around. Now we do already have stitches to work into. This single crochet row is just going to help it keep the width that it currently is. And then once we have made our way around with our single crochet row, we're just going to close off the row by slip stitching into that chain space that we made when we first started this row. Now let's work on the length of the cuff. This is the final touch that brings structure and style to your batwing sleeve. We're going to work the cuff lengthwise, so start with a chain the length that we like for the cuff to be. Since we are going to have thumb holes, I'm going to make my chain reach roughly at the palm of my hand, so that's going to be a chain 30 for me. That's about 7 inches or 18 centimeters. Now time for some knit-like stitches with back loop slip stitches. So chain 1, that's our turning chain. Into that second chain from our hook, we're going to insert in through the back bump with a slip stitch. So this singular loop right here is our back bump. We're going to insert your hook in through there, yarn over, and gently pull through everything on our hook. We want to make sure that we're not pulling through too tightly, otherwise the next row can be way too tight to work into, so just be careful of that. Into that next stitch's back bump with another slip stitch. Now keep working our back bump slip stitches all the way down until we reach the base. And you may be curious why we're working back bump slip stitches. It's mainly so that once we make our way all the way around and we seam it, we can do an outside loop slip stitch seam to make it look like another slip stitch row. So if you flip your chain over, looking at the bottom of it, you are going to see stitches like this that basically looks like the top of the stitches. Keep working our back bump slip stitches until we reach the base. Then once we're worked into that last chain, we're going to connect it into the base, which the base is that single crochet row. So find that first available stitch. We're going to insert in through there with a slip stitch. Now that slip stitch into the base doesn't count as a stitch. That's basically just to anchor our first row down. We are going to work our way up to the following row as well. So slip stitch up that next stitch into the base. That slip stitch still doesn't count as a stitch. That's basically our turning chain, and now we're going to flip our work. And now a back loop slip into every stitch. So into the last stitch from our previous row, not into any of those slip stitches, insert into that back loop with a back loop slip, so just gently pull through everything until we reach the end of the row. At the end of the row, chain 1 flip. Make your way back down with more back loop slips, then connect it into the base the same way that we just did, and that's basically it for the cuff. It's just going to be a repeat of these 2 back loop slip stitch rows. Our cuff is nearly complete. We're now going to seam it, but add a little thumb hole as well. Right before we get started, we're all going to place stitch markers that frame our thumb right where it's going to sit once when the entire piece is done. I went ahead and inserted my stitch marker into the 5th and 10th stitch from the outer edge. So our work is still flipped right side out. We're going to place our hook in through the corner stitches and find that first stitch into the front panel of the cuff and insert only in through that front loop. Find that first stitch into the back panel of the cuff and insert in through that back loop, and these 2 loops are the reason why we worked in through the back bumps when we did our first slip stitch row. Then we're going to pull through everything. Again, next stitch into the front panel, insert only into that front loop. Next into the back, insert into that back, pull through everything. Work this until we reach our stitch marker, cut, then starting from the base, our same outside loop slip stitch seam until we reach that stitch marker, then cut again. And this seam hugs the wrist and balances the entire batwing shape and adds a professional polish finish to your cozy cardigan. So once we have one done, repeat it on the other side. Then the last thing we have to do is simply weave in all of our ends. And there you have it, your very own cozy batwing cardigan. I'm so excited and so proud with how this turned out. I'm a cozy girly through and through, and I can't wait to see your versions. So if you make your own, be sure to post it in our community tab so we can all hype you up. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What color would you use for this cardigan? Drop your answers in the comments down below. Now, giveaway time. Enter this week's pattern giveaway for the Sedge Stitch Vest and Herringbone Stitch Cardigan by answering what's your ultimate cozy day activity that does not include crochet. Not gonna lie, I feel really weird not crocheting, but if I had to say something, I would say cleaning and then watching my shows in all the cleanliness. Yeah, that sounds pretty great. If you love this tutorial, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a new pattern. We drop fresh content every Sunday and Wednesday. And if you want more, find us on Instagram and TikTok at TCDDIY for behind the scenes content, pattern sneak peeks, and daily crochet inspiration. Thank you guys so much for crocheting with us today. As always, happy hooking, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!